Tension had been building for weeks. The air in Forks felt heavier, charged with electricity, as if a storm was about to break. And in the end, it did. It all started with Renesmee. Jacob had always believed that his imprinting on her was an unbreakable bond, a promise of peace between his pack and the Cullens. But not all the Quileute saw it that way. To some, Renesmee was still an aberration. She was not human. She was not vampire. She was something new, something that should not exist. And when Leah found Renesmee's scent too close to the borders of La Push, everything changed. She and Seth saw her from afar, hunting with Bella in the forest. It was a simple hunt, like so many others, but Leah did not see it that way. She saw an immortal creature with burning eyes, capturing its prey with impossible speed. She saw what the ancestors had warned about for centuries. She saw danger, and she made a mistake. A single howl, a single message to the pack, a single trigger for war. Jacob ran to the border the moment he heard the growls, but it was too late. Sam was already there, the pack behind him, and on the other side, Edward, Emmett, and Jasper waited. The war was not decided with a meeting. There was no truce. There were no negotiations, only instinct. The Cullens did not back down. The pack did not yield, and in a single instant of absolute tension, the first blood was spilled. Emmett struck first. There was no time to talk, no time to reason. A single move, and the ground shook beneath his weight as he charged at Paul. Claws tore through the air, fangs clashed against unbreakable skin. And then all of Forks became a battlefield. Bella shielded Renesmee. Jacob shouted at the pack to stop, but Sam did not listen. He could not listen. Vampires were his natural enemy, and the treaty was broken. It no longer mattered who had started it. The only thing that mattered was who would survive. The first casualties came quickly. Seth was the first to fall. He tried to stop the fight, to put himself between the sides. But when Jasper felt the force of a wolf lunging toward Alice, he reacted before thinking. A single move, a single crack of bones. And Seth did not get up. Leah roared in fury. Emmett tried to step away when he felt her leap, but she was faster. Her fangs pierced his neck, and the snow turned red and black. Jacob's howl shook the forest, but there was no stopping it now. The war had begun, and not even Alice could see the end. The trees trembled with every impact, the snow stained with blood and uprooted earth. The forest of Forks, which had witnessed a fragile balance for years, had become a battlefield. There were no orders, no strategy, only fangs and claws against stone and venom. And with every passing second, someone fell. Jacob fought without knowing if he wanted to win or lose. On one side, his pack, his family. On the other, Renesmee, the one person he would have given his life for. And the only one who would never forgive what was happening. But the choices were no longer his to make. Sam wouldn't listen to reason. Jasper wasn't holding back. And then, Leah lunged at Bella. Bella didn't see her coming. Her shield stretched over Renesmee, protecting her from the attacks, but her own body was left defenseless. Leah leaped, claws extended, with the strength of a wolf who knew no fear. And Edward intercepted her. The impact was brutal. Edward struck her away with a force that shook the ground, a blow too strong, too lethal. Leah crashed against a tree with a sickening sound, and she didn't get up. Jacob felt the scream tear through his throat before he could stop it. He ran to her, but her chest no longer rose or fell. Leah Clearwater was dead. Jacob didn't think. He didn't reason. He just acted, and he lunged at Edward with all the fury in his being. The wolves attacked with more violence than ever before. Each death fueled the battle. Each loss turned rage into instinct. Sam tore apart a vampire from the Denali clan before Alice could warn him. Emmett ripped the head off a wolf he barely recognized. Rosalie screamed as she saw Esme fall beneath Paul's fangs. And Bella, her eyes entirely black with desperation, expanded her shield in one final attempt to stop it all. But it was too late. The Cullens and the wolves were destroying each other, and no one was going to win. By the time the Volturi arrived, the battle was nearly over. Aro walked among the corpses as if he were exploring a forgotten ruin. He gazed in fascination at the shattered bodies, the fallen wolves, the lifeless vampires lying in the snow. And he smiled. Oh, what a tragedy. Caius watched with satisfaction. They saved us the trouble. Demetrius remained silent, but his eyes scanned the scene with a hunter's precision. The vampire world had changed forever. And the Cullens, the only ones who had ever defied the Volturi's authority, no longer existed. Jacob survived, Renesmee survived, but when Jacob saw her in Arrow's arms, her eyes shining with an emotion he didn't understand, he knew he had lost her too. Volterra had a new princess, the war in Forks was over, and the Cullens were nothing but a memory.